Good afternoon, my friends, this is Krebs here, and today we're going to be playing a little bit of World of WarPlanes. Now, before you hit that dislike button on the video, I think you should maybe listen to what I have to say about this game, and also my general first impressions, because no doubt there's going to be a lot of you that know what this game is about, but at the same time there's probably going to be a lot of you that have not even tried this game yet. So you're probably keen to know, what does Krebs, what do I have to say about this game, since I'm such a War Thunder addict? Well, let's put it like this. You probably think I'm insane. How could I go from War Thunder to World of WarPlanes? I have absolutely no idea. And the only reason I'm actually playing this game is because it's a direct competitor to War Thunder. I've watched videos of this game already, and I can tell you right now that I wasn't very excited about World of WarPlanes. They've gone through a lot of transitions, a lot of overhauls, probably due because how great War Thunder is turning out to be. How highly polished War Thunder is. They've changed the graphics, they've changed flight models in this game, they've changed control settings and systems to try and make it more of an actual competitor to War Thunder, if you want to put it like that. So I guess what I'll be doing is I'll just be generally speaking, how is this game similar to World of Tanks? And how does it compare against War Thunder? And I'm also going to be showing you guys some gameplay footage of what I've managed to accomplish this far into the game. Alright, so let's talk about the similarities of this game to World of Tanks. Well, the thing about World of Tanks, it's made by Wargaming. This game is made by Wargaming. If you don't know that by now, you probably live under a rock. But they want to have a general theme, a same sort of theme behind these games, because they want to have World of Tanks, World of WarPlanes, World of Warships. They want to have people that are able to easily transition from each game. And of course, by doing that, they can make money easily, because if one person likes one game, they can go over to the next game, spend some money over there, and generally speaking, they just want to have the same theme. Things are just about the same between the games. It's very, very arcadey. You could call this game a simulator, but it's nothing like an authentic feeling, okay? They try to simulate flight, but it is very, very arcadey. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it's even more arcadey than arcade mode in War Thunder. So when you actually get into the loadout screen over here, this is closed beta, by the way. I'm allowed to actually make these videos. There's no NDA anymore. When you get out to the load screen, you'll notice, hey ho! This looks very similar to World of Tanks. All my planes are loaded out at the bottom. Just like World of Tanks, you can separate them. You can filter them out by plane types, by tiers, by nations. There are no crews. So unlike World of Tanks, where you have crew members in your tanks, there is nothing to be trained up in terms of crews in World of WarPlanes. And I hope I'm saying that right. I just haven't noticed it. If I am saying anything wrong, do correct me in the comment box below, but nothing that I've noticed. There's no crew members along the side of the screen like there usually is in World of Tanks. But apart from that, near enough everything is similar. If you go on over to, say, the tech tree, you'll see, lo and behold, it looks just like World of Tanks. You've got various factions: Germany, USSR, USA, Japan. You can take a quick look at them. There you go. See, that's all your planes that have been launched thus far in the closed beta. And they go by a tier system, you know, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, so on and so forth, all the way up to tier 10, which is meant to be jets. And that's just like War Thunder. Well, you'll notice though, it has nothing, it doesn't even compare to the same amount of planes as War Thunder does. So, although this looks like there isn't that many planes, when you actually go on an individual plane, you'll notice that it has various different models of that same plane, okay? So if you go on over to the AR-64, which is the first tier 1 plane, you can eventually go out into the AR-65, okay? Back to the tech tree, look what you got over here. So I got the AR-65 for my tier 1, and that eventually leads up to the AR-68 for tier 2. If you go to the AR-68, you'll notice that yes, you can put on different weapons, you can put on a new engine, just like World of Tanks, but instead of having tracks and turrets that you can upgrade, I guess they had to throw in something extra. They have different models of that plane. So the AR-68E over here is one model, and then eventually you can get the AR-68H, and that can be equipped with a different weapon on it, a different armament. Okay, so similarities to World of Tanks, but also some different ways to look at it as well. And these planes, these later models have, what is that? Increased, oop, no, that looked like decreased weight, but higher hit points. So it's just like changing your turrets or changing your suspensions in World of Tanks. It's just a different airframe. I guess this is how World of Warplanes is advertising. Yes, we have dozens of planes already out in the game. Just look at these various models that we have. Well, essentially it's the same plane, just a different model, a different letter in front of it, and you're loading out a different weapon. I guess if you want to call that a totally separate plane, I have no idea, but I don't know. That's what they're trying to advertise it as. So back to tech tree. You have similarities in terms of that aspects. Achievements, that's just your stats right there. Nothing really special. When you go over to your modules, you notice, yeah, all those things, those loadouts, you can customize it, change it back and forth. Your exterior, you can customize your plane to look any way that you want it to be. Of course, within limitations, not any exact way you want it to be, but whatever they allow you to choose as, you can go ahead and change those colors. You can go ahead and apply it. It doesn't actually cost anything. Now that's pretty cool. Normally in World of Tanks, changing your camouflage would cost gold to do it, but there is no gold expenditure in this game that I've noticed, apart from, as you can see, you can buy credits, you can buy a premium account, or you can buy a premium aircraft, and you can convert experience to free experience like World of Tanks. There's also no premium ammo that I've noticed. Where the hell do I find this again? Service, here we go. Load consumables. As you can see, there's no premium consumables at the moment. I wouldn't doubt if they actually do that eventually. If you go to the ammo belts, you'll notice, yeah, there's incendiary belts, general purpose belts, and they each cost different amounts because of the different effectiveness they have. So the general purpose does the most damage, has also a chance to cause fire, but it's the most expensive, and I wouldn't doubt if eventually they add in premium ammo belts as well. You know, that's wargaming for you. I wouldn't doubt if they do stuff like that. But hey ho, that's pretty much all the similarities that you can say to World of Tanks. I can't just go out and say, wow, this game is completely different from World of Tanks. No, it's not. There's a big theme between them, and a lot of things they try to keep the same, so that people can easily go from one game to the next, and back, vice versa. So, I don't want to try to drag this on a little bit any longer than it should, because, well, that's pretty much speaking what the game is. So I think we might just jump on out into some battles. Okay, so we've got a match on Halluf.
Good hunting.
Right. These games I'm going to be showing you are complete contrasts of each other. This one I do very, very well in. In the next one, it's my first match ever in a tier 2 plane, and it was absolutely terrible. So rather than just commentating over this game, I want to speak about a few things. Generally speaking, what is behind what's going on in these games. So one thing that I can say about World of Warplanes, and I'm not going to hold back on this, it's my honest opinion, and it's an honest opinion that a lot of other people share as well. The game has the worst controls I have ever seen. Right. Think of it this way. In War Thunder, we're used to using a mouse and a keyboard, and they work simultaneously together. Okay, you point your mouse in a direction, your pilots can adjust, but the majority of your maneuvering comes from using your keyboard. Okay, along with throttle control, so on and so forth. However, in this, you can use a keyboard and a mouse, but they're outdated. Okay. They have different control systems, just like War Thunder, where you have your joystick, you have a keyboard and mouse. I don't think in War Thunder you have a gamepad. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But in World of Warplanes, you've got a gamepad as well. What happens in World of Warplanes is that you can use a keyboard separately, you can use a mouse separately, or you can use them together. Now, using them together is an old system. It's an old control scheme from a long time ago. And it's very, very horrendous. I wish I could show it to you guys, but imagine, if you will, where you have your keyboard controlling your flight, and you're also trying to adjust with your mouse. But when you're adjusting with your mouse, you're actually pointing it in a direction that's permanently going in that direction, unless you adjust your mouse back into the center of the screen. So you're almost, in a way, moving your mouse out in a direction and then adjusting it back towards the center again all the time, and it is such a hassle. Whereas in War Thunder, you're just pointing it in a single direction, and that's it, you're fine. It just doesn't happen in World of Warplanes. So once you've given up on trying to use a mouse and a keyboard together, you'll probably think, okay, I'm just going to try them separately. You go out using a mouse, and the mouse is just so freaking awkward. Imagine if you have your yaw, your pitch, your roll, all together on a mouse. It just doesn't work. It's so clunky. It just doesn't come together. You try and dive down on somebody, and it takes forever. It just doesn't happen. And so once you've given up on the mouse, you'll go on over to the keyboard. And mind you, the mouse, I believe, is actually the default one. So when you first get into this game, you'll be using a mouse. So you give up on that and you go over to the keyboard. So you're using strictly a keyboard to do firing, to control everything. Your roll, your pitch, your all your maneuvering, your throttle, and so on and so forth. It is just awkward. Look at just what happened right there. I went through the ground. This is something I gotta mention to you guys as well. But anyway, with the keyboard, it's awkward as well. Because you're using a keyboard, you don't really have a direction of sensitivity. You press a button down, and that's you heading in that direction. But it doesn't give you a degree of how hard you're pressing down a button. Okay? You don't really have that unless you're using a gamepad. So what will happen is you want to try to maneuver around somebody, but since you're locked at a certain sensitivity, you could be pressing down your roll key, or your pitch key, or your yaw, whatever it will be, and it'll go like that at that pressure. I hope I'm making sense right now. And a lot of times when you're trying to get behind someone and shoot at them, you just need to slightly adjust. But since you press the button and you can't adjust the sensitivity, you'll easily overshoot them. You won't be able to aim on them at a good rate. You'll just be overshooting them all the time. It's one of the most frustrating control systems I've ever seen before. And so I said, okay, I can't use a keyboard, I can't use a mouse, what do I have left? Can I use anything else? Well, they have joysticks and gamepads. I don't have a joystick, but I have a gamepad. So I hooked up my gamepad. Immediately I noticed, okay, this is starting to work a little bit better, but it's still not perfect. And what ended up happening was only half of my controls were working. It was literally the worst thing ever. Only half of my controls were working. The activation for the boost, the WEP, does not even work for my gamepad, and it's a common problem with a lot of other people as well. It doesn't work. And so what I've had to do is actually use my own profile changer, my own software for my gamepad, to assign it to keystrokes. And I'll post a screenshot just in front of the screen what I've had to assign it to, just so you can get an impression of what it looks like. But I've had to assign my own keystrokes to make up for the other half of my keys that were missing, that I can't actually change in World of Tanks. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't work. You try to change it, but it's not detected. Or if it is detected, it just doesn't work. I don't know. It's incompatible. I don't know if it's my gamepad or if it's just a lack of support. So it's definitely, I can say to you guys, one of the most frustrating control schemes ever. And you're going to see it kind of reflected here when I'm trying to get my aim on somebody. I'm using my gamepad here. I'm trying to get my aim on somebody, but I'm overshooting them so many times. I'm trying to do a turn fight with them, but so many of these engagements, when you go against people here, is going to turn out to be turn fights in World of Warplanes. And this is just plain old silly. I'm flying through the ground, okay? It's not only me that's flying through the ground, it's also my opponent. And when you're flying through the ground, I believe they become invulnerable. So you try to shoot at the ground and your bullets will just crash into the ground. Look, see, he's just come out of the ground again. Well, I killed him there. Taught him a lesson for doing that. Hypocrite I am. but I mean, come on guys, I'm giving you a general impression of what it's like. You can fly through the freaking ground. And wow, I've just crashed through the ground as well. And I got a wee cheeky ram to finish that off. So, ramming isn't gone in World of Warplanes. If you were frustrated with War Thunder and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to head on over to World of Warplanes, there's probably no ramming there. Nah, it's still here. It's still here. So, no point of showing you guys any more of this clip. I'll show you the results and we'll move on to the next one. Alright, so here's the next game. And this time, I'm using my Tier 2 AR-68. And look at what the matchmaking has given me. I am against planes that are up to two tiers higher than I am. Which is fair enough. Come on, we're used to it by now. We're used to it by playing World of Tanks. That sometimes you're going to be put into matches where there's going to be higher tier tanks. And just like World of Tanks, it means it's going to be a whole lot harder to kill those planes. Now, think of War Thunder. Whenever you're up against planes, sometimes they're going to be 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5, maybe even more tiers above you. You can still take them on, as long as you are a bit efficient. You're an efficient pilot. You can get behind the enemy plane. Your guns will still do something to it. Now, what you're going to see in this clip, not just yet, what you're going to see in this clip is literally the most awful thing that can happen when you go out into a stock plane in a higher tier match. Just think of World of Tanks. Stock tank like in World of Tanks, and you're in a higher tier match. What happens? Chances are you get owned, and that is exactly what happens. I'm diving down on a bunch of people here, hoping that they won't see me, and I'm gonna try to go for the ones. Hoping to go for the ones in the back. Well, hoping so, but it looks like I'm gonna be going for a bomber here. And I think he might be 2 tiers above. I don't know, to be honest. He might be a tier or 2 tiers above. And I'm shooting it at him multiple times. You can see those flashing indicators on him. And it's just not doing any damage. It's just not doing any damage. Now, I'm using default ammo, so fair enough. Okay, maybe it's default ammo, but you guys saw what other ammo was available. It didn't do that much more damage. It did like extra chance to catch on fire. So I doubt it's going to help that much. But look at how little damage I did to a bomber, which actually I should correct myself. That's not even a bomber, okay? There are no bombers in this game. There's only attackers. And sometimes they have bombs on them. Okay, so I tried to take him out, and I barely did any damage because this is based on a health point system. It's not about the critical damage. You don't do critical damage unless you properly do some hit point damage to them first. And so I'm trying to hit this guy, but I'm getting hit from behind. And notice what these guys are doing to me. They're just wrecking me. You can see my hit points at the bottom of the middle of the screen. They are absolutely tearing me apart. And I just raged. I was just saying BS. Come on. I can't do any damage to them, and they can just tear me apart. Chances are that must have been a higher tier plane. I think that was like a Fokker Wolf or something. He just tore me to shreds, to absolute chunks. And that made me rage. So you can probably firmly say, what does Krebs have to say to this game? Well, it is a glitchy turd fest. And I'm saying that honestly, guys. I'm not trying to be hyperbole here, or speak in hyperboles. It is honestly a glitchy, unbalanced turd fest. Okay, I'm sorry, Wargaming, if you're going to see this and you're going to think, shocking! We are going to be banning this guy. We don't want people to make such negative videos about our game. It's in closed beta. Well, I mean, come on. War Thunder was in closed beta and wasn't that awful. And you're going to be going into open beta. So I hope, Wargaming, if you're going to be making this game go out into open beta, I really hope you're going to be doing a massive overhaul. A mass overhaul. And I'm talking about not only the graphics, which I guess are okay, they're better than what they used to be, but the graphics, the flight models. I've been in Japanese planes and Germans have been outflying me, as in, not outflying, but outturning me. Also, the health point system, come on, that is outdated. Look at War Thunder, where you throw the hit points rulebook out and you base it on critical damage and how many holes you have in your plane. That is what it's all about, Wargaming. You really need to try to pick it up like that. But fair enough, that's what it is at the moment. frustrating to play. A little bit of a glitch fest. Quite a glitch fest, actually. They need to fix their control schemes. And am I going to make any more videos? Not for the meantime. I'm probably going to wait for there to be more patches, or unless I level up a little bit more and I can actually compete against tier 4s in tier 2 planes. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This was actually an honest opinion of mine, an honest review of my general impressions so far of this game. And I hope you found it informative. So until next time guys, I will catch you all later.
Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Two bullfighters.
Got him.
Oh, fuck you, Bernard. I was going for a Spitfire.
Okay, got Hurricane. Got Hurricane.
Hurricane is down.
Going for Spitfire.
Fuck you.
Gladiator is diving too.
Got 3 kills.